The rooftop parking garage on West 7th smelled like rain that had already given up. Nova Chen was running on 3 hours of sleep, iced matcha she had not touched, and pure survival energy. She had on a fitted sage green cord set, cropped zip-up and wide-leg trousers, white low-top Converse, and a mini crossbody bag hanging from one shoulder. Her black hair was thrown into a messy bun with 2 pencils sticking out of it. No jewelry except tiny gold hoops that caught the gray morning light. She had exactly 6 minutes to make it to the pitch presentation that could save her position at the branding firm on the 14th floor. Then some guy reversed his matte black Range Rover directly into the parking spot she had been waiting for. Her parking spot. The one she had been sitting with her blinker on for a full 90 seconds. He stepped out like he had not just done something. Navy technical jacket, straight leg, cargo trousers in charcoal, and pristine olive New Balance 990s. His whole fit looked expensive in a way that was trying not to look expensive. He had his phone pressed to his ear, one hand sliding his keys into his pocket, not even glancing at her car still idling in the aisle. Nova lowered her window. "You saw my blinker." He looked over. His face was unreadable. Sharp jaw, calm eyes, the kind of calm that comes from never being told no. "There is no rule about blinkers," he said, not unkindly. Just like he was correcting a fact. "There is a rule called basic human decency." He tilted his head like she had said something mildly interesting. Then he went back to his phone call and walked toward the elevator. Nova sat in her car for exactly 4 seconds, jaw tight. Then she parked 2 levels up, jogged to the stairwell, and burst through the glass doors of Apex Creative at 9:08 a.m. Her coworker Priya was already mouthing something urgent at her from across the open floor plan. Nova lip-read the words, "The investor is here." She straightened her zip-up, walked into the main conference room, and froze. Navy technical jacket, charcoal cargo trousers, olive New Balance. The man from the parking garage stood at the head of the table, hands in his pockets, looking at the room like he had built it from scratch. Because apparently, he had. "I am Ren Ashford," he said to the room. "I acquired Apex 3 weeks ago." His eyes found her in the back row. 1 second. Quiet and precise. Nova felt her stomach do something she did not have words for yet. The message came through Slack at 11:47 a.m. from an account called r.ashford. No profile picture. No pleasantries. Conference room C, 5 p.m. Come alone. That was it. No context. No punctuation that suggested a human being with emotions had typed it. Nova spent the next 5 hours deciding whether to quit before he could fire her. She ate half a granola bar, ignored 4 texts from her best friend Jade, and stared at her resignation letter draft until the words stopped looking like words. At 4:59, she walked into conference room C. Ren was already there. He had lost the technical jacket. Just a fitted dark gray crewneck now, sleeves pushed up, standing at the floor-to-ceiling window with the city behind him like a movie set he had personally designed. His arms were crossed. Not aggressive. Just contained. Nova dropped her tote bag on the chair and stayed standing. "You going to fire me for parking?" It was not a question. She refused to make it one. He turned. "I am not going to fire you." She waited. "You were right this morning," he said. "I took your spot. I was on a call I should have ended 10 minutes before and I was not paying attention." He slid a keycard across the table. "Reserved spot on level 2. It is yours for the remainder of the quarter. Nova looked at the keycard. Then at him. Nobody in a position like yours just says sorry, she said slowly. I am not saying sorry. He met her eyes. I am correcting the situation. There is a difference. She almost smiled. She did not let herself. Why am I really here? He pulled out a tablet and turned it to face her. Her own work filled the screen. Her pitch deck from this morning. The rebrand concept she had been developing for 8 months alone, mostly on her lunch breaks. Who helped you build this? No one. Ren nodded once, like that confirmed something. I want you leading the full brand overhaul for Apex's parent company. Not assisting. Leading. Your title changes Monday. Nova's throat tightened. You do not know me. I know your work. That is not the same thing. He looked at her for a long moment. Something shifted in his expression, barely visible. Like a curtain moving in a closed room. No, he said quietly. It is not. She picked up the keycard. She should have asked more questions right then. She would think about that later. Much later. 3 weeks passed in a blur of late nights and cold takeout containers. Nova had claimed the glass-walled corner office like she had always belonged in it. She wore a rust-orange oversized blazer over a white-ribbed tank, dark wide-leg jeans, and chunky platform loafers that clicked satisfyingly on the concrete floors. A stack of thin gold bracelets on her left wrist. Her hair was down now, wavy and loose. Because she had stopped pretending she had time to style it. Ren was in the office almost every evening she was. They did not plan it that way. It just kept happening. He would pass her open door, pause, sometimes come in. Sometimes just stand in the doorway and ask one question about the project before disappearing again. He wore the same rotation of perfectly fitted neutrals. Cream. Knit. Washed black tee. Dark trousers. His whole energy was someone who had decided. Noise was a waste of his time. But alone with her, he talked differently. Why branding? He asked one night. The city glittered below. Everyone else had gone home. Because people lie with words all the time, Nova said, not looking up from her screen. But a visual identity does not lie. It just is. I wanted to work in the thing that cannot fake it. A pause. That is the most honest answer I have gotten from anyone in this building, he said. She finally looked up. He was leaning in the doorway, arms crossed, watching her with an expression she could not file away. What about you? She said. Why acquire a branding firm? You are not exactly a creative agency type. I built things for 12 years that looked successful and felt hollow. He said it simply, like he had already processed the grief of it. I wanted to own something that makes other things feel real. Nova stared at him. Then Jade called her phone. She let it ring once and silenced it. She would call Jade back in an hour. She promised herself that. What she did not know was that Jade had been in a private meeting with Ren's business partner, Marcus, for the past 2 weeks. Signing documents. Handing over details about Nova's rebrand concepts. The ones that were not yet filed or protected. The ones Nova had trusted her with. Jade sent one final document at 11:58 p.m. The notification appeared on Nova's laptop at the exact moment Ren's phone buzzed with a different alert entirely. His expression changed. First time she had ever seen it change. That fast. He looked at her. Did you share the Halcyon concept files with anyone outside this firm? Nova's blood went cold. No, she said. Why? He turned his phone to face her. The screen showed a competitor's announcement. A new campaign. Her concept. Her colors. Her exact visual language. Her best friend's name was in the credits. Nova did not cry. Not right away. She sat very still in her chair for 30 seconds. Ren watched her the whole time. Without saying anything, which was the first real mercy he had ever given her. Then she stood up, grabbed her tote, and walked out. She found Jade at home sitting cross-legged on her bed in a faded college hoodie. Looking at her phone like she already knew. The apartment was dim except for the ring light Jade used for content. It cast everything in a cold, flat white. "Tell me you did not," Nova said from the doorway. Jade put the phone down. "It was not supposed to go live yet. That is what you are leading with. Marcus promised it would be credited back to you eventually. He said Ren was going to shut the whole Apex project down anyway and you were going to lose it regardless." Nova laughed once, short and humorless. "And you believed him?" "He showed me documents, November. Fake documents." Jade looked up. Her eyes were wet. "I did it because Marcus offered me a full creative position. I have been an assistant for 4 years. 4 years. Nobody was looking at me." The silence between them was thick enough to stand on. "I would have fought for you," Nova said. Her voice was very quiet. "If you had just asked me, I would have walked into Ren's office and fought for you." She left without slamming the door. That somehow felt worse. The next morning she walked into Apex in a black fitted turtleneck, dark straight leg trousers, and her white Converse. Simple. Armored. She went directly to Ren's office. He was already there, standing by the window. He had the same alert look he wore when something required full attention. "I am going to step back from the lead role," she said. He turned. "No. The concept is compromised. I am the liability now. If I stay on it, every decision I make gets questioned because of this." Nova. It was the first time he had used her name like that. Not like a professional address. Like something he was trying to hold carefully. "I already filed the original draft timestamps with legal," he said. "Your authorship is protected. Marcus is being removed from the parent company board today." She stopped. "You moved that fast." "I moved that fast." She looked at him. He looked back. The city behind him was loud and silver in the morning light. "Why?" she said. And she did not mean the legal filing. Ren was quiet for a long moment. He had the face of someone who had spent years building walls specifically to not answer questions like that. "Because it mattered," he finally said. "You mattered. Past the project." Nova felt something fracture open in her chest. Not painfully. Like a window. Finally cracking after months of too much pressure on the glass. She should have said something. She almost did. Then his phone rang. He glanced at the screen. Every muscle in his face tightened. "I have to take this." He picked up and turned away. She heard 3 words before she stepped out of his office. "She cannot know." Nova stood in the hallway outside his office for a full minute. The fluorescent light above her flickered once and held. She breathed in through her nose. Breathed out slow. Then she went back to her desk and did the one thing she was genuinely great at. She looked for the truth underneath the surface. It took her 40 minutes to find it. Ren had known about the leak 3 days before he told her. He had quietly pulled his own name from the parent company's board during that time. Voluntarily. No. Announcement. No press release. He had taken himself out of the deal entirely so that the Halcyon project, Nova's project, could be relaunched under her full ownership. Not Apex's. Not his. Hers. The sacrifice cost him $42 million in projected equity. She found the number buried in a restructuring document his legal team had filed at midnight. The timestamp was the same night she had walked out after finding out about Jade. The night she assumed he was just doing damage control. She picked up her phone. Put it down. Picked it up again. She found him on the roof terrace at 6 p.m. The sky was going amber and bruised at the edges. He was standing at the railing in a washed olive jacket, hands wrapped around a coffee cup that had clearly gone cold an hour ago. His shoulders were down. For once. Not performing anything for anyone. I heard the call, she said. He turned. Did not flinch. She cannot know, Nova repeated. Who were you talking to? Ren set the cup on the ledge. My lawyer. You pulled yourself out. A pause. Long enough that a cab honked 11 floors below and faded into nothing. You would have argued me out of it, he said. You would have told me it was too much. That you did not need it. I would have, she said honestly. I know. She stepped closer. He did not move back. The city sat behind him, all of it loud and indifferent, and Nova thought about what he had said weeks ago. I wanted to own something that makes other things feel real. You gave up $42 million, she said. I have done stupider things for worse reasons. His voice was dry but his eyes were not. This is the part where I am supposed to say you did not have to. You do not have to say anything. She looked at him for a long moment. This man who took her parking spot and said sorry. Without saying sorry. Who recognized her work before he knew her name. Who moved quietly and decisively and never once asked her to be grateful. I do not know what we are, she said. Neither do I. He said it without apology. But I stopped pretending I did not want to find out. Nova exhaled. Something in her chest that had been braced for 4 years finally let go. She reached out and took the cold coffee cup from the railing. Set it aside. Stood next to him looking out at the city they were both, in their own separate ways, still figuring out how to belong to. His hand found hers on the railing. Quiet. No announcement. Just two people choosing to stay. The end.